Folks, this is Kalani. Anduin Rin is the 8th boss in the
Oh, he's tiny. Oh, he's small. Let's have a look at this platform. Okay, we're up on the Arbiter's platform, it looks like. Something similar. Small platform. Very small platform.
Sepulcher of the first one's raid, and he's actually the last boss you can fight in the first week the raid is going to open. So he's kind of like a pseudo-end boss, and apparently he was designed to hold up as an end-of-tier boss all by himself.
Okay,
the fight
Black
just
Orb
became
goes out
available
and
for
comes
testing,
back.
so we're going to see how it's shaping up so far. To start with, every time Anduin melees the same target, he gains a stacking attack speed buff, so your tanks will need to tank swap to keep these stacks low. He also...
But God, the biggest thing this game needs is better tank mechanics. For the love of Christ. I feel so bad for anybody tanking in World of Warcraft these days. I feel so bad. There's got to be something more creative we could do for the tanks. They need something, man. Like, I've played with some of the absolute best fucking tanks in the world. Like, the enemy people who love tanking to their core, and they cannot play WoW anymore. They cannot play WoW anymore. Like, the only time that you even hear from the tanks is when something's fucked up or the melee can't hit something. Like, you don't talk to the tanks you only talk to the tanks. This is the 3 conversations that you have with tanks in World of Warcraft. Why did you die? Can you move the boss? Why are you still dying? That's it. That's the 3 conversations you have with the tanks. And if everything else is fine, you never hear from the tanks ever again. You never hear from them ever again. That's it. That's them done. And they just fucking stand there and they swap. And they get dead excited because they have to swap to Vengeance and start bouncing around the room and kite something. Like, they get so excited when they have to do that.
throws out some random debuffs called Domination.
No, you don't even say taunt. If the tanks are saying taunt, they've fucked up. That's the only time you hear from them. The tank, our raid leader would actually say, do we really need to hear every time you taunt? Can't you count the stacks? Right? Can you not count to fucking 5? Shut up. Let us focus on the more important thing, which is DPS. Let us focus on the way more important thing, which is doing DPS.
Word pain.
Oh, okay, we got a matchup mechanic. Okay, alright.
This is just damage over time debuffs that need to be healed up. Anduin also uses Hope Breaker. He plunges Kingsmorn into the ground, dealing increasing raid-wide damage. Your healers need to be on their toes to keep
Ooh, new spell animation, like that.
everyone healthy. You also need to watch out for Wicked Star. The boss targets a few players with arrows over the head and then he throws a star out towards them. The star also then goes back towards the boss, so you need to dodge the star coming out and going back in. The star deals damage and silences anyone who gets hit for 3 seconds. The boss will also cast Befouled Barrier. This drops a big shiny AoE somewhere in the arena that lasts for 25 seconds. When it expires, it deals damage to your entire raid and everyone gets a massive healing absorb debuff. To get rid of the barrier, you need players to stand inside of it and your healers need to heal those players. The barrier absorbs 75% of all healing done to players inside it, and as it absorbs that healing, it gets smaller and smaller until it disappears entirely. Stacking your entire raid in the bubble and using a big raid cooldown got rid of these barriers very quickly. Anduin will also use Blasphemy. He marks several players with a light debuff or a shadow debuff after...
I swear, I'm having flashbacks, man. I'm having absolute Unat flashbacks. THD, man, you having Unat flashbacks or what? Like, this movement... Oh, fuck Star Augur. It's all about Unat. This raid movement where there's 2 people confused...
He marks several players with a light...
Watch these 2. Player A and player B.
Debuff or a shadow debuff. After 6 seconds, these debuffs
this way.
explode.
Where am I going? Oh. No. You know a mythic that kills the whole raid. We all know it already. You know it does. You know that. Boom! You're all dead.
Killing anyone within 8 yards of the player.
Oh, he died! Oh, my boy died. Oh, he was looking everywhere. Oh, my God.
Debuff.
Watch this guy. Just watch this guy. Just focus on this guy. 100%.
After 6 seconds, these debuffs explode, killing anyone within 8 yards of the player. To get rid of these debuffs, a light debuff player needs to run into a shadow debuffed player. So opposites get rid of the debuff for this one. If the same type of debuff touches, or if a marked player touches an unmarked player...
There was no effort there. Oh god. There was no effort by the Shadow Priest. That's Fingal. 100% this is Fingal. Without question. This is a Fingal play. I'll grip someone at the last second.
Buffed player. So opposites get rid of the debuff for this one. If the same type of debuff touches, or if a marked player touches an unmarked player, the explosion goes off as well. So you can only touch opposites with this ability. And then his last major ability is Kingsmourn Hungers. He winds up a big black semicircle and slashes out, dealing damage to anyone in that semicircle. Ooh. Anyone who gets hit by Kingsmourn will also have their soul temporarily banished and sent into the downstairs realm.
Oh god, it's the Mage Tower!
There are a bunch of different ads down here. 4 of the ads need to be healed to full health before they reach the outside of the room. Completely healing an ad will give Anduin 5.
Who's the cunt who's got some fucking UI mod that they can't see friendly nameplates?
I rebound it. My LVI isn't showing it.
Of energy. 4 small ads need to be DPS down before they reach the middle of the room.
There's always
small ads gives Anduin 5 energy each, and they can be CC'd and slowed and knocked, so you probably want to group them up. And then there's 1 big ad that needs to be tanked and DPS down. The big ad will give Anduin 20
Anduin's to spare, Anduin's down.
Energy if it's killed. You only have 35 seconds down here to get as much done as possible, so it's definitely a race against the clock. The big ad also has an AoE that needs to be healed up, so you'll need to send a tank down here, at least a couple of healers, and a lot of DPS. I like this. It will probably end up just being half your raid being sent downstairs, while the other half handles the upstairs. Anyone who gets hit by Kingsmourn also gets a debuff that increases the damage they take from Kingsmourn by 1000% for 2 minutes, so you'll most likely rotate your group going down.
Oh, that's nice as well.
There's a total of 60 energy available in every downstairs phase, and to push the boss into
Everybody
the next
gets to go
phase,
and do it.
you
That's
need
cool.
100 energy. So you'll need...
Right, okay, let's assess this situation then. So, on Mythic, we can expect to see 8 Moonkins, 4 in each phase, AoEing and also throwing out massive heals at the same time. Yeah, GG. No problem. Fucking Moonkins, man. You know it. You can already see it now.
2 downstairs phases minimum, and you can probably mix and match which ads you take care of, or just try for the max 60
Hunters are out, man. You're fucking done for, dude. Hunters are out. The spread cleave. Real nice bench I've got warming up for you. Get cozy. Get cozy. F for Roger. Roger's out.
Time to give yourself some extra leeway if something goes wrong in one of the phases.
8 Moonkins minimum.
If you manage to restore 100 of Anduin's energy, you enter the intermission phase and the remnant of a fallen king pops out. And it might look very familiar. That's Arthas's Lich King model right there, and he uses some of the same abilities. While the remnant is active, Anduin...
What a troll using Army of the Dead. Classic DK maneuver. Fucker. Not even playing Unholy. What a dick. Thinks he's fucking good. Thinks he's fucking good with his Army of the Dead. Fuck you, dude.
Is stunned, and 150% of the damage taken by the remnant is transferred
Soul
to
Reaper?
Anduin.
This is
so
retro,
damage is going to be
Arthas.
very important in this phase.
Is Infest in this fight? Oh, please say it is. Is he going to do Defile? Oh, go on. Go on.
While the remnant is active, your raid will take
You
constant damage from Remorseless Winter. The damage also increases every 10 seconds, so this will start to hurt very quickly. It also uses Soul Reaper on the tanks, dealing a massive amount of physical damage, another chunk of Shadow Frost damage. It leaves a debuff that increases the target's damage taken by 150%, and it gives the remnant a 100% increased attack speed buff. So your tanks will need to swap very quickly when this goes out. The remnant also summons a whole bunch of ads. The little ads are going to jump all over the place, dealing AoE damage and reducing the effectiveness of heals on the targets that get hit. On heroic mode, the ads also explode on death in a mini AoE, so you're going to need to dodge that. And then also on heroic mode, you'll get some big ads. They gain stacks of an attack speed buff the longer they're alive. They lose health.
This is chaos. This is absolute chaos.
Over time, and when they get to low health, they try to cast a big explosion.
No defile,
so you
no
have
infest.
to kill the ads off before they can finish
no
that
shadow
cast.
traps.
We're not too sure how long this phase lasts, but you go back and forth between facing Anduin and refueling his energy, and then the remnant to burn down Anduin's health.
We got no shadow
a big
traps
thank
or
you to
nothing?
Lucid of the Guild Nascent for letting us use this footage of the remnant intermission phase. When
Well played.
Anduin becomes active again, he will use a new ability, Grim Reflections. It sounds like a bunch of shadow images of Anduin will appear around the room and try to cast a big AoE fear, so interrupting them is going to be very important.
I think this is normal, but the footage we just saw was from Heroic, I think.
When you restore Anduin's hope again, the remnant of the Fallen King will use a new ability, March of the Damned.
You think Mythic's going to have Infest and Shadow Traps? A Defile? So, oh, this is Heroic. What's if you had to choose one of the three for Mythic, what's the worst possible addition to that clusterfuck? Let's look at that again. Defile, I don't think Defile's a problem these days. People are better than they were in Wrath. Right? Defile wasn't that bad. I think Infest. Yeah, Infest is nightmare fuel. I don't think a disc can cheese it all anymore. I'm not sure of the relative strength. I haven't played in a few months now, but... I mean, also Shadow Traps would be really nasty here.
Soul Reaper on the tanks, dealing a massive amount of physical damage.
Unless the ads are fully controlled. It probably might not be too bad if you get a quality control on the ads. Shadow Traps might not be that bad. Defiles on the Jailer. Okay. Infest would be pretty bad. I would like to see Shadow Traps, though. Just so if I do get the fortunate opportunity to do some casting at the Race to World First, I just want to see someone go in a Shadow Trap. Oh, I promise I'll be kind. I will. I'll be so kind. I'll be tender and gentle as I point it out to the audience. I will. I promise you. I definitely won't ask production for a replay. In slow-mo. With some Hello Darkness. I won't. I promise you.
Damage. Another chunk of Shadow Frost damage. It leaves a debuff that increases the target's
Get some
damage
Saradite
taken by
bombs
100.
back. I've had so much back and forth with that because I was convinced for years that Nahiko did not know what was going on there. Because I knew Nahiko. And he was a really good dude. And I was convinced. But Kenny, who was in Insidia, he was there. He was in during the fight. He doesn't believe that. And I trust Kenny a lot. Kenny's like, what did he say to us? It was on stream. Kenny just said, look, man, all I'm saying is this. If I press a certain button and something happens, and I do that multiple times, and it always happens when I press that button, I'm probably going to put 2 and 2 together. That it's probably that. And he's got a point. He's got a point. Like, you know,
50%.
So I don't know what the true story is there. I don't know what the true story is.
Increased attack speed.
I don't think Nahiko plays
so the
anymore.
Will need to swap very quickly when this goes out. The Remnant also summons a whole bunch of ads. The little ads are going to jump all.
Do you think we're going to get the... I mean, these are... no, we won't, actually, because these are basically the spirits from the Frostmourne room, because they do explode on death. Yeah, those are basically those. I was wondering if we would see him hold up Frostmourne and
over the place, dealing AoE damage and reducing the effectiveness of heals on the targets that get hit. On Heroic mode, the ads also explode on death in a mini AoE, so you're going to need to dodge that. And then also on Heroic mode, you'll get fueling his energy, and then the Remnant to burn down Anduin's health. A big
we'll queue back up in a minute. The queues are really good
is going to be very important. When you restore Anduin's hope again, the Remnant of the Fallen King will use a new ability, March of the Damned.
This fight looks fun, though.
Of the Damned march across the arena, stunning anyone they come into contact with. So that's probably just a typical moving monster wall dodge. And then there also seems to be a burn phase. The last time you face Anduin, he keeps most of his abilities from earlier. Some of them are empowered, and you have to manage stacks of a new debuff. Anduin will have some moments of clarity, creating safe zones for you to use. And there are a lot of mechanics that stack in intensity, so the last leg of this fight will definitely be a race against the clock. Seeing Arthas again is very interesting, and it pretty much confirms that Arthas was the soul that was transformed into Kingsmorn to really do the whole domination thing, right? Or at least part of Arthas' soul, and especially with the interactions with the special NPCs in the encounter area and some of the text that's said, it's pretty cool. Overall,
I'll be doing this. I'll be doing it at least on heroic.
Tough nut to crack. You have a lot of DPS and healing checks throughout the entire fight, but
still seems to be, I mean, I know you guys are memeing, but there is some confusion in the community that because I no longer do YouTube WoW content, that means I must take everything to do with World of Warcraft and burn it on the floor. This is so fucking dumb. So fucking dumb. I don't make WoW YouTube content anymore. Oh, well, that means that you've burnt it to the ground. No, not quite. I know that's hard to grasp.
Into a neat boss package. I agree that this could probably be an end of tier boss from the way it's designed, especially on Mythic.
Oh, this 100% was supposed to be the last boss, like without question. Without question. This is supposed to be the last boss.
And I do expect Mythic will provide a good challenge for the world first guilds. I love that the fight taps into Anduin's old priest playstyle with some of the abilities too, and it's going to be a fun dance back and forth through the phases. But what do you think from what you've seen so far? How do you feel about the presence?
I think it looks great. That looks really fun. What else was tested? THD, man. What else folks? We got? Oh, word up. The prototype Pantheon. Ooh. Right, let's look here. We got what looks like a hammer in the floor.
Hey folks, this is Kalani, the prototype Pantheon boss encounter.
Oh god, Deckard Cain. I'm going to hit you with my gloom bolt. Hold still, young one.
It was just enabled for testing on the 9.2 PTR, so we're going to see exactly how this fight plays out and how it's shaping up so far. There are 4 bosses total in this encounter. You start the fight with the prototype of Duty and prototype of War in play. The prototype of Duty will use Humbling Strikes. This deals heavy damage to the tank and gives them a debuff that increases the damage of Humbling Strikes. This ability also deals raid-wide AoE damage, so you need to keep those stacks as low as possible. She'll also periodically jump away to the edge of the platform and push everyone away from her with strong winds.
Please tell me there's an orb we have to throw to each other. I beg. I beg. God bless. God bless.
During the winds, she'll also throw out a bunch of large swirls. If you get hit by a swirl...
Swirls? You just said swirls.
Well, you get stunned and pinned to the floor with a weapon that needs to be DPS down, so make sure you dodge the swirls. Her last ability is Ascension's Call. A few of the Valkyrie flying around the room will fall to the floor and create a big blue bubble. Anyone who stands in this bubble will deal 0 damage and do 0 healing, so don't stand in it.
Not soaking that. 0 damage, 0 healing. No thanks. No thanks. This is a big-ass platform. There's a lot going on here.
Ascension's Call. A few of the Valkyrie flying around the room will fall to the floor and create a big blue bubble. Anyone who stands in this bubble will deal 0 damage and do 0 healing, so don't stand in it if you don't have to. And then the prototype of War is going to use Gloom Bolt. They throw out random damage to your raid, and it also applies a healing absorb effect, but this can be interrupted and should be as often as possible. You will also use Necrotic Ritual. This summons 4 ads around the room that channel into the center, creating a big green puddle that constantly expands. You need to kill all 4 ads to stop the bubble from growing too much and to get rid of it. One very nasty ability to watch out for is the Runecarver's Death Touch. This applies a debuff to a couple of raid members that deals damage over time, and it explodes for lethal damage if it gets dispelled, and it also then jumps to a nearby ally. The trick with this ability is to dispel it while the player is inside one of those blue bubbles from earlier. If the player is inside a bubble, the explosion doesn't trigger and the debuff doesn't spread. But the bubble does seem to get used when a dispel happens, so 1 debuff per bubble.
Oh god, I just had a shower of flashbacks. Anybody else get a shower of flashbacks? Using up the puddles?
So those players need to run into the bubble as quickly as possible to get dispelled to remove the debuffs from the encounter.
No line of sight, so
when either of these 2 bosses reach 50% health, they run away and the other 2 bosses join the fight. This also means that you will want to keep their health as even as possible before you trigger the phase push. In phase 2, you'll be fighting the prototype of Renewal.
Do they amalgam at the end? Is it going to be Ascendant Council again? Please say they do.
And the prototype of Absolution. The prototype of Renewal will cast Anima Bolt. This targets random raid members, deals a bit of damage, and leaves a debuff that deals damage over time. This can be interrupted and should be as often as possible, just like Gloom Bolt. She will also create portals at the side of the room and summon a wild stampede. Little soul-shaped critters will race across the platform in a straight line. If you get hit by them, you'll take a bunch of damage and get knocked back, so keep an eye on the portals and just position accordingly. She also uses Anima Storm. This creates little tornadoes that circle around the boss. If you stand near them, you're going to take constant damage and you get silenced, so just avoid them. Her last ability is Withering Seeds. The boss spawns several wild seeds throughout the room that can be healed up. If you heal them up to full, the seed will heal your entire raid, and you get a 25% healing increase buff that can stack up to 4 times, and each time you heal a seed, it refreshes the duration.
So
you want to stagger these buffs to keep your healing buff up for as long as possible.
What's coming?
If you stagger them properly, you can actually keep the 4-stack 100% increased healing buff up for the rest of the fight, which is going to be very important for that last phase.
Yeah.
If a seed ever gets to 0 health, it dies and explodes for raid-wide damage and damage over time, so you should never let a seed die. The prototype of Absolution will apply a stack of Burden of Sin to your entire raid. Looks familiar. This deals damage over time and there's no way to remove it, so keeping these stacks low is going to be very important. He will also use Hand of Destruction. He pulls everyone towards him and creates a huge AoE that explodes after 6 seconds, dealing reduced damage the further away you are.
This fight looks alright. You know what it reminds me of? This looks more like, what was that fight where like the big frog came jumping around and the bird went across? You know the one I mean. It's one of the BFA raids. Yeah, Conclave of the Chosen. Yeah. It reminds me a bit like that.
Pull in. He also casts Sinful Projection, which always seems to line up very well with that pull in. Every player in the raid has a deep...
Classic mage. Fuck it. Not even dealing with it. Fuck this. Fuck this. That's Ross. Easy mechanic, mate. Fucking easy. How did you die to that?
Buff, when it expires, you shoot out 4 red balls in a cross pattern. It's basically the debuff we got from the Prideful Affix in Mythic Plus. If anyone gets hit by those red balls, they take a lot of damage, they get stunned, and they get a stack of Burden of Sin.
Dude, fuck off. Stop chasing me. I'm already angry at these two. Get away from me.
Which again is going to last.
Oh, hey! What the fuck, bro? I was here ages ago. Look how early Kalani was there. And they started chasing him.
They take a lot of damage, they get stunned.
Look, he's over here, he's solid. Look at these two. Terrorists! Terrorists! Get away from me!
Which again is going to last for the rest of the fight, so spreading out and dodging these
sizeless platform,
bro, incredibly important. And then his last ability is Racking Pain. This is another tank swap mechanic. The boss strikes the tank and anyone behind them, increasing the damage they take by 25% per stack, so point it away from the raid and tank swap to keep the stacks low. After you get one of these bosses to 50%, Phase 3 will start. All 4 of the prototypes become active, and you have to deal with all of their abilities at the same time. So just Phase 1 and Phase 2 combined, and it's a huge burn phase. On Heroic mode, you'll need to kill all of the bosses within 20 seconds of each other, otherwise they heal to full. See a typical council-style kill them at the same time or wipe mechanic. Overall, this boss was a lot of fun. There's a bunch of different abilities to keep track of, and you need to make good use of the helpful buffs to get through each phase as smoothly as possible. It's probably going to be a bit of a mess until you learn each ability, and it does get very visually busy, especially in that last phase. A lot of effects going across your screen and a bunch of nasty damage.
Yeah, that looks sick. Compared to that other fight we looked at recently, I can't remember which one it was. There was one that looked absolute
this is Kalani.
Alright, who's this? Lehuvim, the Principal Architect.
Hey folks, this is Kalani. We're back with more raid testing for the Sepulcher of the First One's raid,
Serial
9.2, and this time we're taking a look at Lehuvim, the Principal Architect. The boss's first ability is Synthesize Unstable Mote. This targets several players with a swirl, and after a short delay they drop a spiky star bomb thing.
Is he clearing them?
If anyone touches one of these motes, they expand into a huge AoE, so you need to drop them away from the group, ideally in the same place, and no one should touch them. The next ability is Deconstructing Energy. This marks a couple of players with a big circle, and after a delay it deals damage to anyone still inside that circle, but it can also destroy unstable motes.
You could have got all 3 there and you know it.
Been touched and expanded into the big AoE. So the play here would be to gather those motes up in the same spot and then destroy them all with this circle ability without anybody actually triggering them. The The boss also is going to use a large cone AoE attack, so it should be faced away from the raid at all times, and then they also use an ability called Cosmic Shift. It deals AoE damage and knocks everyone backwards, so another key point here is for the raid to either stack against a wall to prevent too much movement, or for the raid to position themselves so they can never get knocked back into the unstable modes. When the boss reaches full energy, they channel into the 4 forges around the room. During this time, the entire encounter area pulses with lethal AoE damage, but if you are next to one of the prototypes being made, in the golden circle here, you take 90% reduced damage, and that's the only way you can survive. You can also DPS down any of the prototypes being made, and if you kill them before they get to full energy, that type of ad will not spawn. The first type of ad is the Defense Matrix Automa. They only do one thing, they plop down a huge 75% damage reduction shield for the boss and its ads, so you would have to constantly move the boss and any ads out of the shield to deal any damage to them. Yikes. The next type of ad is the Guardian Automa. They deal damage to random raid members, they need to be tanked, and they create sentry automas that fire on your raid constantly. The next ad is the Degeneration Automa. This actually spawns a whole bunch of little ads that cast Degenerate at random raid members. This deals very heavy damage over time, so...
Cast Degenerate. You just instantly start watching fucking Final Fantasy 14 cosplays, man. That's zero pause. Just cast Degenerate on you. Oh, no. Oh, my room's suddenly turned into Asmon's bedroom.
Priority target in this phase. And then the last ad is the Acquisitions Automa. They fixate on a random raid member and chase after them. They don't seem to deal crazy damage, so you can tank it if you have cooldowns and direct heals, but when this ad dies, it knocks everyone back incredibly far, pretty much across the entire room. You can get knocked back against the wall, or you can use this to get to the other side of the room quickly, but the most important thing here will be for your raid to all get knocked back the same way. This to get to the other side.
Oh, this is a sad run back. Oh, look at this. This is painful. Where's the wild charge?
Pretty much across the entire room.
Tragic.
You can get knocked back against the wall, or you can use this to get to the other side of the room quickly. But the most important thing here will be for your raid to all get knocked back the same way. Otherwise, it's going to take forever to group up again. The types of ads that are being made do change throughout the fight, so you'll need to make a quick decision for which ad to kill, or potentially which 2 ads to kill if you have enough DPS, and send your raid to the appropriate positions.
I imagine on Mythic you're going to need to do 2.
The boss also comes back into play very quickly, so you have to deal with the ads that spawn and the boss at the same time, which is going to be pretty hard, I think. Overall, this boss is really fun. You are rewarded for playing well and being very clean with the moats and destroying them, and you get to choose which ads to bring into the fight by killing off the prototypes you really don't want to deal with. But that's the Lehuvin fight in the Sepulcher of the First One's raid, coming in 9.2. What do you think?
Look at hundreds. I'm going to go down the list. Kalani's done them all. Make sure you give him some love, my friends. Okay, I'm kind of dreading this. Artificer Zymox. All right.
Hey.
Okay. Now, let's just point out here for a second. We've got a long history, my friend. We've got a long history. You've made many of my friends and myself very miserable. Okay? Let's be kind.
Folks, this is Kalani. We're back with more raid testing for the Sepulcher of the First One's raid, and this time we'll be taking a look at Artificer Zymox. The boss's first ability is Hyperlight Spark Nova. This bounces between every member in the raid, dealing damage and applying a debuff to everyone within 2 yards, so your raid needs to spread out quickly.
What an interesting shaped boss arena. Look at this. It's one of the things that WoW does better is boss arenas, for sure. They're not as graphically good, but they do utilize the environment a lot more.
You'll also use interdimensional wormholes. Yep, it's the same ability from Castle Nathria. He marks 2 players, and after a short delay, they drop 2 ends of a portal or wormhole. You can enter one side of the wormhole to jump through to the other. This will be very important for the next ability, Forerunner Rings. That big artifact in the middle of the room will create a huge ring. The ring can start in the middle and expand outwards, or start at the outside and collapse inwards. You do seem to be able to blink over the ring if you time it well enough, and even Warlock gateways will actually get you across without killing you, so there will be a lot of options for dealing with this outside of the wormholes.
Yeah, it looks too easy.
The intended strategy here, though, is obviously place one end of the wormhole in the middle of the room and the other end at the outside of the room, so you can hop back and forth across the ring, because if you ever get hit by the ring, you are guaranteed to die. So you want to use the wormholes to jump across the lethal ring, no matter where it's coming from. There is a tank debuff to watch out for as well, Glyph of Relocation. This deals damage over time to the tank, but when it expires it will explode for raid-wide AoE damage and pull every raid member to the tank. The damage is reduced the further away you are, so the tank needs to run away from the group, but the pull-in can be very nasty. Between having to spread out and positioning for the wormhole, the pull-in can put you in some really bad positions.
Why aren't you coordinating it with the portal, though?
When the boss gets down to 80%, 50% and 20% health, they jump into the middle of the room, become immune to damage and channel a raid-wide AoE, and then summon some adds. There are two main ad types. Hyperlight Acolytes need to be tanked and they cast a huge cone AoE in front of them, so point that away from the raid, and then these ads need to die very quickly. If they ever reach 100 energy, they will ascend into Archons, which also completely heals the ad. Archons deal pulsing AoE damage and wipe your raid very quickly, so they need to die before they can finish this ascension cast. The other ads are debilitators. They channel a nasty spell into random raid members that deals a lot of damage, so they need to be interrupted and grouped up to be AoE down.
Oh, they can be grouped.
When you killed all of the ads, the boss stops his raid-wide AoE and you can start phase 1 again. And that's pretty much the entire fight. You go back and forth between engaging the boss and then dealing with his ads. The only thing that seems to change is the Forerunner rings. They start in the middle and expand outwards, and then in the next phase they always seem to start on the outside and collapse inwards, but after that they can change and the rings start coming in groups, so it's going to get harder and harder to dodge.
Nice!
The heroic ability on this fight is Stasis Traps, another familiar ability for anyone who did this boss in Castle Nathria. The boss plops down a few traps near the raid and they arm after 2 seconds. If anyone steps on a trap, they get stunned.
Why, of all the bosses, did they decide to reuse Zymox? Out of everything that was in Nathria, why Zymox? Because you didn't technically kill him? Do we care, though? Because it's fun? Did I have fun at Zymox? Questionable.
And take constant damage over time, so you have to kill the trap to break them out. The difference with these traps, however, is that they never disappear. Even if you clear them with an immunity, the traps stay throughout the entire fight, and they re-arm after they are triggered. So you'll have to purposefully bait these traps and rotate around the room as a raid to make sure you don't run out of space. That's gotta be really cool. With all of the movement required to dodge other abilities, bad trap placements will significantly hinder your overall progress. I think this is going to be a fun fight overall. I like that the wormholes have more uses than just creating distance quickly, and crossing over the Forerunner rings will be the hardest part of the fight. As long as the boss doesn't run away this time, I'll be very happy. But that's the Artificer Zymox fight in the Sepulcher of the First One's raid. What do you think?
No, that looks alright, man. That looks alright. I'm down for that fight. That looks cool. That looks cool.
Hey.
Now, this is boss 1 of 2 that was up today, and for the most part, So if you watch a few polls in this actual boss, you'll see that
2, 1.
Let's do it. What is that?
Oh god, he's a big old chunky boy, isn't he? He's a big old chunky boy.
What is that? What is that noise, dude?
Okay, we're getting obelisks.
The obelisks are targetable now.
And he's marked. Ah, okay, so the marked people destroy the shields. Okay. That one didn't have his shields broken, right? Did he break it with DPS? The other one broke, didn't it? Yeah, that one broke. Yeah.
This boss is cool, dude. It's literally demonic.
Nailed it.
This boss is cool, dude. It's literally demonic.
There's 3, right?
Nailed it.
Aim 1, and then like after
really
we
choppy
break it, and then
It's that spinning laser.
Are we dead again now? No, we can kill this one.
Yeah, you're turbo dead.
Maybe you are dead. Oh, nope.
Just me. That way,
Did it not do a lot of AoE damage when it landed?
Heal this one.
And then like after
really
we
choppy
break,
there
surely
now.
we break
How much did it do when they were overlapped there? I thought he was going to die from the overlap, but he didn't.
Are we dead again now?
It's definitely overlapping here.
I'm breaking the right now.
It did too much.
Or maybe you are dead. Oh, nope.
Just me. That way, all of us.
Here's the deal. The boss transitions at 8, shortening our time.
I mean, you could
It sounds
escape
like-
that, it looks like.
I should probably soul rot. I forgot. I can't place what it sounds like. It's like. What is?
Right, he's got one. Does somebody... Can you destroy 2 of these? I don't see anybody else with the line.
What's that sound?
Now,
It's
he's
like a
broken that
movie.
one. There was only one line
It's
there.
like Cloverfield or something like that. It sounds like that, dude. It's so cool. It's so cool, man. I love it.
And there's 2 more.
It's good. It's good.
Right, so he's got one now. Okay. So is there a third one so you can
War of
destroy
the
all
Worlds.
3?
It literally is War of the Worlds.
Or is that what phases it when all 3 die?
It literally is War of the Worlds. It actually is. It's war, yeah. It's
No,
exactly what it is.
oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the tanks are aiming it. That's fair.
What?
I didn't hit. Did the tank die? Maybe.
Not great.
Okay, what happens when all 3 are destroyed? Question marks?
This fight will be better for Demo when we won't stop DPS a bunch.
Enters relocation form and descends deeper into the caverns. Oh, he's off! He's off! Woohoo! Bye!
Let's pot it. Why not?
See ya!
Just push him so fast we skip the phase again. Let's do it. Sure.
Is this like an Overwatch thing where you've got to like guide him
Going
to
buy
the
more
end?
rocks. There we go. Dude, look at all the imps. Look at all the imps following me. Don't. No shot. I get locked out of the room again, dude.
Where are you going, pal?
Not getting locked out.
Now,
again.
does the phase just repeat though? Oh, you get Earthbreaker missiles on the way in. Steady.
All right, I'm in the room. We're safe. I think. Oh, my procs expired. No, don't need not. I'm not getting.
That's a
knocked out of the
long
room again.
DPS phase. I wonder if he like becomes immune at 50 or something. If he's still walking. Alondra senses his form and he's moving again.
It's so good.
He's off! It does look like he's undertuned, like HP-wise. I wonder if he's supposed to be immune when he's transferring between areas or something like that. Because they obviously want you to have a phase in that other room.
Sorry, this is a demo tier. Won't tell you.
He had 25 mil at the end of testing. He had 85 million. Okay, they just bumped his HP up massively. That's why testing's important. Oh, I hope he doesn't just not do any more mechanics now because he's so undertuned. We'll see what he does in the other phases.
They definitely need to buff the health in the boss considerably. Like 30-40% probably. Somewhere around there.
Maybe this is the whole fight. Oh, unlock. Unlucky. Unlucky. Oh, the great sadness. There it is.
Dude.
The confident stride. The confident stride. The boss is undertuned.
Actually got flesh. Actually got flesh.
Kababalicious. I would have definitely died there also, though.
They definitely need to buff the health in the boss considerably.
I would have tried to disengage, but I would have hit a
probably.
wall in my panic.
Somewhere around there. No, dude! No! Come on, dude! Oh, come on! I don't have soul shade! Somebody else got locked.
Wait, a Warlock's not playing Night Fae? What are you guys playing? Oh, is it on cooldown?
That's good. They should.
Oh, it's on cooldown. Unlucky. Yeah, he had 20 seconds left.
Either buff its health substantially or...
Oh, so does the phase just repeat then? Oh, okay. Oh, but there's a lot more pylons now. So you get an extra pylon per intermission phase, it looks like. Hello, wife! How's it going?
Make sure that we don't lose people to kill it, so it's just potential or not dying.
He's still got 25 million HP here.
Don't DPS too much on the boss.
Let's skip forward a little bit.
Maybe wait more. It's okay.
Stop DPSing the absorb shield. Come on now.
Make sure to soak those.
Okay, break it again. What if all 4 of us go on it?
What if Power just stacks on it?
True.
That'd be scary.
Shut up and heal.
Do this and push the boss.
Classic raid leadership. Shut up and heal. Alright, now he's going on his walk.
It's a mage.
So
Off he goes.
assume that you were like under the boss, right, Pally?
This fight looks pretty cool though. This looks really fun. Right, they got to out DPS it by the time it gets to the other phase.
Make sure to keep yourself safe. Don't DPS the boss. Yeah, please stop DPS. Like we only have 10% more boss transition.
Overall, the raid looks decent. It's like a good showing. I wonder if it is 2 raids mixed together though. So they took the best of like raid 1 and the best of raid 2 and made them into just the one raid.
This boss is gonna push.
Oh, what they thought was the best.
Don't you guys find it weird that like you want to stop DPS but the bosses just keep going down?
That's insane.
I thought the raiding WoWs always look good. Always. I mean, I've enjoyed it for the years, you know what I mean?
Can't stop, full stop.
Does it do more in these other phases, though?
Like their parts matter on PTR.
Or is it just the pylons? Because this could get really boring after a bit.
They just can't stop. It's like a disease they have.
Pretty much the same. Ah, that's a pity. It'd be nice if it was like, I was thinking if it'd be a bit more like, Mimiron, you know, where each phase is kind of really distinctive, has a different form per arena you're in.
That's a good one.
That's like edge lord.
Yeah, what's the lore behind that? That's good.
So make sure to soak here.
Been reworked. Yeah, I mean, the principle of the idea is really good.
Get that.
But there's opportunity here for so much more.
Keep yourself safe.
Are we blessing? No.
I mean, it's gonna kill people if we lost, because...
That's cool. Is that all the bosses that have been tested then? Because they're not testing everything, are they?
It's actively
I'm Sugar, and welcome to a PTR preview of the Vigil.
Oh, here we go. Sugar's on it.
And the 9.2 raid, Sepulcher of the First Ones. This is a 3-stage fight with a burn for the last 15%. There's a lot going on in this fight, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure what the best way to do it is. It reminds me a lot of the Hellfire Citadel first boss. In stage 1,
Oh, Hellfire
needs to
Assault.
defeat the adds that are periodically awakened by the Guardian. They feel like a never-ending flow of adds, but they do go down fairly quickly. Tanks are going to be busy trying to grab aggro on all the mobs and save the DPS. There's also a tank swap mechanic on the biggest mob here. A lot of the mobs also need range interrupts to help bring them to the group. Eventually, one of the bigger mobs off to the side activates and creates a force field. This field will shield the group from the majority of the damage that happens during the exposed core mechanic. This will then use up the field and leave behind an unstable core. These cores should be carried to the Guardian to reduce its
it is
HP
Hellfire
by
Assault.
15%.
Oh no.
While carrying a core, your movement speed is reduced by 50%, and you take damage every second.
Oh no.
You can use movement abilities and spells while holding the core. It takes 4 cores to break the Guardian out of the wall in the middle of the room. Stage 2, the Guardian will come out and fight the raid directly. We weren't entirely sure what was going on during this, but it was fun. The tanks were defenseless for a bit and couldn't move for 30 seconds, which resulted in our wipe. Stage 3 happens at 15%.
The tanks couldn't do anything for 30 seconds.
Because of core overload, that increases damage taken by the raid by 30% every 3 seconds. I really enjoyed this fight, but I can foresee it being rough on everyone's CPUs and GPUs because of the amount of adds and spell effects that are going out at once. This fight was also quite a bit longer than I expected for a first boss, but there may be strategies that come out that help.
15-minute first boss.
I hope you enjoyed
Sick.
this PTR preview of the Vigilant, the Guardian, and
Doesn't look that
If you have
intense,
any questions,
right?
let me know in the comments below. Okay, bye.
Is it because I've got a Chad computer? Oh, you've got to work on the editing, sugar. You can't do a voiceover and not show the things that you're talking about. Come on. Come on. What the hell? 2 seconds to cut between the bits you're talking about, and now you've gone to dead silence. Shaking my damn knees. It's not what we're after. I'm not being toxic. You can't do 20 seconds of voiceover and then cut to dead silence. Is it dead silence? Okay, you've put some sort of porn club music on now. Can't do that. No. Come on now. A little bit of cut and paste. Move the clips around. Wow, this ad phase does go on for fucking ever. Holy shit. This is, this is insane. Go on. Oh, this is fun. What a great mechanic. Woo! Kobe! It should give... Why not give you zoom legs if you're carrying the orb? Why do you have to be slowed? Make it so it's, like, hard to control. You get, like, gun shoes or something. And you've got to, like, go around. Maybe there's obstacles, right? That the players literally drop. You know them things on the floor? It makes, like, a Mario Kart route. And then when you get the orb, you've got to Kobe around. You've got to, like, proper swing it to get where you need to go. Then you have to Kobe it into the hoop. That would be fun. Yeah, you get to make a little race course for people. I like that idea. That would be really fun. See, these things here, these are permanent. And you have to, like, plan it out. I mean, this is garbage, right? You don't want this. Go on. All right. All right. Is it still not done? Oh, man. Still not done. More ads. Hey, wee! Oh, I can't wait for this fight to be really, really hard on Mythic. Not that it will be as the first boss, but... I want to see everybody progressing on this for 2 days. Just fucking AoE ads for 2 days. That's what I want to see in my life. Just AoE ads for 2 days. So good. So good. They should have made Scorponok's like super hard. Alright, I think this is the last one. I think it's happening, team. Are you ready? Is it happening? I can't see it. I think the door's open. Alright, yeah, the door's open. They've blown the way in. Here it comes. Ooh, he looks kind of cool. Oh, he starts at half health. How does he not fall over them little legs? Yeah, they were blowing the door off. Is what they were doing. They were blowing the bloody doors off. Yeah, he's very top heavy, isn't he? He's got that Hugh Jackman look around him. And what happened here? Their tanks got CC'd for 30 seconds, was it? Doesn't look too hard. It looks like they had a bad transition. They should have cleared the ads before the transition. Then it would have been fine, I'm guessing. Which part of the MSQ is this? There's Lise. See? This is all the MSQ. It's all the MSQ. Yeah, Thancred's gonna backflip off a fucking roof in a minute and land and just kill it. No. When we kill the boss, that's when Thancred will show up. 100%. You'll see. You'll all see. This is Magitech armor. They've added raid testing to FF14. Alright, this fight looks giga shit. Get out of me.